have been talking about identity. درباره هویت صحبت کردیم. Now let's talk about the path to change and the path that the church takes to realize its identity. I call it جاده‌ای که کلیسا باید طی کنه تا هویت خودش رو بشناسه و این جاده یه جاده به خصوصی هستش. There is a path that the church has to go on for it to come to a realization of its identity and then to realize the blessings of it. نه تنها بس این جاده رو طی کنه بلکه بس این جاده رو طی کنه تا بتونه به برکاتی که از این دانش جدید داره اونا رو تجربه کنه. Let's go to the Old Testament, to the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. Okay, now, پیدایش فصل 27. Actually, 26th chapter. The 26th chapter. پیدایش فصل 26. This is the story of Isaac. این داستان اسحاق هستش and Isaac's 3 wells. Actually 4 wells. و داستان چاهای اسحاق هستش. The Old Testament always has types and shadows and pictures when it brings into revelation the deeper understandings of the gospel in the New Testament. If you look at the Old Testament, you'll see great pictures where you can actually explain New Testament truths even better. در عهد قدیم همیشه ما تصویرهایی داریم که به ما کمک میکنن که حقایق عهد جدید رو بهتر کشف کنیم. اگر هر چقدر بیشتر عهد قدیم رو بخونید توش این تصویرها رو بهتر میبینید. So now, let's look at Isaac. So in the beginning of the chapter, the 27th chapter, based in 26th chapter, we have an interesting story. This is Isaac now living in an area where there's a great famine, and the Lord tells him that basically, don't go to Egypt. Now, when the men who lived there about Isaac, verse 7, he's talking about his wife Rebekah and so forth, but if you go, you'll see that he's living on verse 9 with a man or with a king called Abimelech. Basically, Abimelech was a king in the land, and if I'm not mistaken, he was a land of the Philistines. But basically, Abimelech was a king, was a non-Jewish king. He was basically a king in the land. اینجا آیزک داره اسحاق داره با یه پادشاهی به نام ابیملک زندگی میکنه. So he's living in a land that is ruled by the king of the Philistines called Abimelech. It's interesting. Man of God is not living in the land of promise. The man of God, which is the son of Abraham, he is living with the king of the Philistines. فرزند ابراهیم در سرزمین موعود داره زندگی نمیکنه، بلکه فرزند ابراهیم داره با پادشاه فلسطین زندگی میکنه. Isn't that the picture of our lives sometimes? We are living sometimes in the land controlled by the king of Philistines. It's like we are the people of promise, we're the children of promise, we're the children of promise, we've given a land of Canaan, but instead of living in our land of promise, we start our journey living in the Philistines' king's camp. Think about it. ما فرزندان خدا هستیم، به جای اینکه داستان از اینجا شروع بشه که فرزند ابراهیم در سرزمین موعود خودش داره زندگی میکنه، داره در سرزمین پادشاه فلسطین زندگی میکنه. That's the way the church starts its journey. در واقع این شروع حرکت چی هستش؟ کلیساست. Isaac stands today for the church in the story. اسحاق در این داستان پوزیشن کلیسا رو به خودش میگیره. و هر اتفاقی که برای اسحاق میفته برای کلیسا میفته. And I want you to understand whatever happens to Isaac from now on in this story is a picture of what happens to the church in its journey. And you're going to see how the type and shadow works. All right, so he's in the land. He's in Philistines' land. And in the verse 10, there's a little interesting story going on because Isaac lies about his wife Rebekah, just like his father lies about his wife Sarah, saying that he's not his wife, it's his sister. Apparently the sins of the father carries on to the son. Whatever goes around comes around. It comes around on him. And he says, because I was afraid someone would kill me to get her from me, Isaac replied. The back end of verse 9. How could you do this to us? Abimelech exclaimed. One of my people might have easily taken your wife and slept with her, and you would have made us guilty of great sin. Then Abimelech issued a public proclamation, anyone who touches this man or his wife will be put to death. Now, این داستان اسحاق هست که درباره زنش ربکا دروغ میگه. همون کاری که پدرش میکنه اینم تکرار میکنه. میگن گناه پدرم به فرزندانم ارسال میشه. ایشون درباره زنش سارا دروغ میگه، ایشون هم درباره زنش ربکا دروغ میگه. میگه من میترسیدم که اگه میدونستید که این زن من هستش این رو از من میگرفتید و غیره و غیره. But there's a story here. Why would this story be in the Bible at all? Why would this whole episode show itself up in this place? This is before the journey starts. This is a place that the church is uncertain of who they are. I want you to write this down. This is a picture of a man who doesn't really know who he is yet. Fear comes from not knowing who you are. ترس همیشه ریشش ندونستن هویت خودت هستش. Fear is always a product of not knowing who you are. ترس همیشه محصول ندونستن هویت خودته. When you know who you are, you can stand in any situation and tell the truth and stand on that truth and know that the truth prevails. هویت شناسی محصولش چیه؟ اعتماد به نفسی هستش که میتونی حقیقت رو بگی، رو حقیقت واستی و حقیقت کار خودش رو بکنه. But when you are lying, it tells you that Isaac at this juncture of his walk, he is not sure yet. He is afraid. But God delivers him from destruction. Because in that society, not only he could have lost his wife, he could have lost his life. Because if he had done this, the king of Philistine could have said, you have broken our laws, you're no longer welcome, you are a liar, and I will rob from you what belongs to you. So, think about it. نه تنها اشتباه رو میبینیم به خاطر عدم هویت، بلکه میبینیم که خدا باز اشتباه کلیسا رو یا اشتباه اسحاق رو جبران میکنه. باز به طور خیلی غیر طبیعی، خب به طور طبیعی یا به شکل موافق طبیعی از اسحاق دفاع میکنه. It's interesting because in your beginning steps of your journey as a church, it's God's divine protection that protects the church from falling apart. It's as if you're living in another man's land, in the Philistine. You really are not sure who you really are. You're making all kinds of mistakes, yet by divine protection, you still stand. I think I know where the church is. Did you catch that? You're living in the land of Philistine, not the land of promise. You are not sure of who you are in your destiny yet. You're trying to figure it out. You're making mistakes, but God divinely protects you and maintains you. این داستان کلیساست. تو سرزمین موعود خودت نیستی. حتی هویت خودت هم خوب نمیشناسی. باز اشتباه میکنی، با این حال خدا نگرت میداره. That's who you are. Most of the time, that's where the church is. If the church was in this divine land of promise, we would not be here. We would be overcoming in the earth today. We would be the overcoming church. And I guarantee you, the church today is not an overcoming church. It's in a defensive posture trying to make it. Okay? We're not invading, we're defending. We are not progressing, we're regressing. We're arguing about whether homosexuals could be in the church or not. That's regression. That's not progression. We're having arguments about basic theological points of the gospel because we are trying to figure out who we are. We don't even know who we are anymore. We're fighting for things that we shouldn't be fighting for. The problem is we don't know who we are. These arguments about homosexuals and this and that and all that is about lack of identity. It's about not knowing what we stand for, what we are and who we are. And then we're letting other people define it for us. مشکل کلیسا اینجاست که وقتی هویت کلیسا براش آشنا نیست، اون وقت روی مسائل بسیار جزئی شروع میکنه جر بحث کردن. مثلا روی مسائلی مثل اینکه آیا همجنس بازا باید تو کلیسا باشن نباشن، شبانی کنن نکنن، ازدواج بکنن ازدواج نکنن، اینها مسائل نیستش که در کلیسایی که خودش رو شناخته و از پیش بیاد. اینا در کلیسایی هستش خودش رو نمیشناسه، داره سوال میکنه و شناخت هویت خودش رو داره درش جستجو میکنه. کلیسایی که خودش رو نمیشناسه تو جزئیاتی مثل این گیر میکنه و کارهای اصلی رو کنار میذاره، رو جزئیات قرار میگیره. اصل مسئله این استش که کلیسایی که پیروزمنده داره جهت پیروزیش در جلو داره پیش میره و کلیسایی که داره خودش رو نمیشناسه در دفاع هستش، داره سعی میکنه چیکار کنه؟ از خودش دفاع بکنه، تجزیه تحلیل بکنه، خودش رو یافت بکنه. I always find that this beginning part of the book of Isaac and the fact that God takes the veil and shows this man, which was the son of Abraham, having the same fundamental problem that his father had, is very telling. It tells me that sometimes generations don't learn from the mistake of the past. چرا خدا نشون میده که اسحاق همون اشکالی رو داره که پدرش داره؟ چون داره درس میده که نسل‌ها اشتباهات نسل قبلشون رو تکرار میکنن. That generations are prone to make the mistake of past generations. That we don't always learn. We are actually far more apt to repeat them again. This is where apostolic fathership comes into the church. This is where pastors have to draw the line. We will not repeat the mistakes of the past. What hasn't worked in the past shall not be repeated. And guarantee you, there's a lot of things the church has done in the past that hasn't worked yet. Because I will dare to ask, where is the victorious church? Oh, so this is total insanity. You know what total insanity is? To continue doing what doesn't work and expect it to work. And the answer is, well, everybody else did it that way. They've done it for 100 years. Maybe I should do the same. This is where Reformation theology comes in. Luther said, for so many centuries, you haven't done the right thing. I dare to say it hasn't worked. And everybody said, oh, what? We have to change? Yes, you have to change. میدونین دیوانگی چیه؟ دیوانگی اینه که وقتی میدونی یه کاری کار نمیکنه، همون کار رو دوباره تکرار کنی و انتظار داشته باشی که اون کار دوباره کار کنه. وقتی کار نمیکنه، کار نمیکنه. و برای کلیسا رفرمیسیون یا انقلاب برای این نیازه، به خاطر اینکه اگه کلیسا موفق بود کاملا اینجا نبود. پس اگه کلیسا کارهاش موفقیت آمیز واقعا نیست، نباید انسان‌هایی در اونجا قرار بگیرن که کارهای گذشته رو دوباره میخوان تکرار بکنن. و بعد برگردین ازش بپرسید، میگه چرا این کارو میکنی؟ میگه چون ایام گذشته نسل‌های قدیمی پدران ما از قبل همین کارو میکردن، پس ما هم همون کارو تکرار میکنیم. خب اگر کلیسا واقعا موفقه تکرار کنید، ولی اگه کاملا کلیسا موفق نیست تکرار نکنید، راه جدید رو یاد بگیرید. When Moses' right-hand man, Joshua, is asked to go and enter into the land, what did God say to Joshua? Of this way you have not gone before. Do not go back the way you have come from, for this is a new way into the land of promise. خداوند به یوشع چی میگه؟ میگه از این راهی که داری میای قبلا از این راه نرفتی، بلکه از این راهی که میری تو و خاندان ملکوت چی؟ یهود باید از این راه جدید وارد سرزمین کنعان بشن. از راه قدیمی که آمدی از آن راه بر نگرد، چون اگه از این راه برگردی دوباره به همونجا برمیگردی که بیابان خودته. You are going to find the same old if you go the same way. And here's the jittery, uncomfortable feeling when it comes to change. Nobody likes change. Correct? خیلی احساس ناآرومی به خادمین خدا دست میده وقتی درباره تغییر و تحول صحبت میکنی، چون انسان از تغییر و تحول خوشش نمیاد. Hey, we are creatures of comfort. We go to church, and gosh, the same people go sit on the same seat in the same section in the church every Sunday. It's like they got their name, boom, planted on that seat. مردم میان کلیسا همون دو تا صندلی که هفته پیش داشتن تو همونجا میشینن تا یه سالم ولشون نکنی کاری نکنی تو همون دو تا صندلی میشینن هر هفته. چرا؟ مثل اینکه با سناشون اونجا مهر کردن اسمشونو. It's like they have a little stamp on the bottom. What the? And then you tell them to move, they're like, oh, but I'm comfortable here. Well, I want to make you uncomfortable. That's my job. What is the job of a Reformation theologist? What's the job of a Reformation? What is the job of Luther's, the spirit of Luther's? To make you completely uncomfortable where you are. That's why any gospel preached in this season of the church that makes you comfortable is not from God himself. It is from the spirit of man. Did you hear that? Any gospel that makes you comfortable where you are is not from the spirit of God, but the spirit of man. And men can preach, I guarantee you, they can preach. هر تئولوژی و هر انجیلی که در این زمان به شما گفته میشه که شما رو آروم میکنه در جایی که هستید از خدا نیست بلکه از انسانه و تئولوژی انسانه. چرا که تئولوژی خدا مثل شمشیر دو دم هستش که شما رو پاره پاره میکنه. Because the spirit of God is a two-edged sword that cuts into you and makes you bleed and makes you uncomfortable. Hence I invite you into a sword-swashing, sword-cutting, bleeding session of the gospel today. My job is to make you bleed. And I say that people say, oh my gosh, because my job is to make you cut. My job is to put salt in your wound. My job is to make you jump up and down and say, I will no longer stand where I am. I will move. Because there is a land of promise before me. I've got to move. کار من اینه که شما رو ببرم. در زخم شما نمک بندازم و اونقدر شما رو ناآروم کنم که در جایی که هستید دیگه نتونید باقی بمونید. بلکه بس بدوید یا به سوی مقصدتون یا فرار کنید از سوی مسیح در برید خودتون رو قایم کنید. به خاطر اینکه این وسط جای خوبی نیست. And the Lord says, I spew you out, that church of Laodicea. You're neither cold nor hot. I don't even know what you stand for. This is a season of change. So now, Isaac is kind of comfortable in his place. حالا اسحاق برای خودش آرومه تو سرزمین ابیملک. Okay, he's kind of comfortable. So we find him having a jolly good time in Philistine. Yet, there is something amiss. یه اشکالی در زندگی آیزاک هست. خب, now watch this. When Isaac planted his crops, verse 12, آیه 12, همه آیه 12 رو برای خودتون بخونید. When Isaac planted his crops that year, he harvested 100 times more grain than he planted, for the Lord blessed him. He became a very rich man, and his wealth continued to grow. He acquired so many flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle and servants, that the Philistines became jealous of him. Ooh! Now, whether you want to know this or not, blessings of God is for intention of not for you to become stationary, but to be transitionary. When God blesses you and makes you blessed in the land of the Philistine, He's not trying to do it so that you sit tight. He's going to make it very uncomfortable because the world rejects a successful church. All right? Now let me explain this to you in Farsi and English here. What's happening is we have so many churches that are getting blessed. And so many churches that are having great moves of God. And so many churches that are having experiences. And they're saying, oh, this is great. What we have done worked this far. We are in our land of Philistine, but we are getting blessed. And they're not reading the blessing right. The blessing is to make the world jealous of you. The blessing is to make the world want to reject you. The blessing is intended for you to be spewed out of the world into the destiny of your life. It's not for you to get comfortable in Philistine. And don't read it wrong. Don't read it wrong that the blessing is because you're doing things right. It's God preparing you to move. All right, let me explain this in Farsi. وقتی که تو سرزمین فلسطین هستی، اسحاق برکت بهش داده میشه. اونقدر ثروتمند میشه که 100 برابر ثروت داره. بعد درک درسته این مسئله مهمه. چون برکت پیدا کردی، چون کلیسا داره پر میشه، چون ایرانی‌ها دارن نجات پیدا میکنن، چون شفا و آزادی تو کلیسا هست، چون این اتفاقای خوب میفته، دلیل بر این نیست که داره کار درستی انجام میدی. به خاطر این هستش که خدا میخواد چنان حرکتی رو در تو به وجود بیاره که به خاطر حسادت هایی که به وجود میاد، چون میگه ابیملک حسودی کرد، تو رو از جایی که هستی بلند کنه بیرون بندازه، مجبورت بکنی که یه جوری حرکت بکنی. یعنی اگرم برکت داره برای کاری که میکنی، در زمانی که در فلسطین هستی، این برکت به خاطر حرکته، به خاطر سکونت نیست. So there is a time, there is a place where blessings are confused by pastors and leaders as if they're doing things right. Yet there is a season, I'm prophetically speaking now, ready? Because I'm prophetically speaking now. There is a season of blessing coming into the church and in the body of the church. There's going to be great signs and wonders and miracles prevalent in the church. But the purpose of that is not to make the church establish a tent or a peg into the ground as if they have made it, but it is for God to bring conflict with the world. Conflict. Where there will be so much resistance to the church, then the church has to choose to be off the world or to get out of Philistine and go on its journey. And there will be a choosing coming. Are you going to be with the world and keep your little buildings and your great wealth collected, whatever that is? Or are you going to say, I am now going to get on my journey? This conflict is not going to be spewed out from you. This conflict will be sourced from the world. I live in America. I can see the readings on the wall. The government of America hates the church. He hates the church and will continue to hate it. And there will come a day that the government will sanction that hate into the law. Now you have to choose. You keep the wealth you have, or you take on your people and go and search your own identity. ما در آمریکا هستیم. در جایی قرار گرفتیم که کاملا واضحه که دولت آمریکا دشمن کلیساست. کاملا واضحه که دولت آمریکا با کلیسا دشمنی داره و هیچ دوستی دیگه بین دولت آمریکا و کلیسا وجود نداره. کاملا واضحه که برای یه مدت زمان کوتاهی فقط مانده قبل از اینکه قوانین آمریکا بر ضد کلیسا بلند شه و کلیسا رو محدود بکنه. بر ضد همجنس‌بازی نمیتونی حرف بزنی، بر ضد این نمیتونی این کارو کنی. اگه میخوام بیان تو کلیسا بس بهشون ازدواج بدی، قانون آمریکاست. نمیتونی. اینها داره میاد و زمانی میرسه که تمام ثروتی که کلیسا بنا کرده، تمام کارهایی که کرده برای دنیا سخت میشه تحملش. یا باید با این کلیسا کار کنه که نمیتونه کار کنه، یا باید با این کلیسا دشمنی کنه. پس دشمنی میکنه. و اون وقت هم حسادت میکنه به موفقیت کلیسا نظر روحانی، هم نمیتونه تحمل کنه کلیسا رو برای پوزیشنی که داره. بنابراین کلیسا مجبور حرکت بکنه. یا میمونه و دنیا یکی میشه، یا باید حرکت بکنه. This is the story of Isaac. He's getting blessed. And suddenly, this is what happens. Abimelech says to him, you got to go. I don't want you here. So, what happens? So Isaac moved away to the valley where he set up her tents and settled down. Now, watch this. He goes from a high place. A wealth of success in the land of Philistine, and he moves down into the valley. There will come a time that the great wealth of the church, the success, and all the things that we build our empires on, we're going to have to let go and move into the valley of faith, where we trust God again. So much of the church trusts not into God himself. So much of the church in the West is built on trust on our own ability, own buildings, own money, own programs, own this, own that. This is me. This is my ministry. I got a name. You got no name. You're not supposed to build a name. we are supposed to build a kingdom. We are not name builders, so-and-so's ministry. I always abhor the idea of people trying to build ministries around their own ability. We are kingdom builders. واقعا باور نکردنیه. به خاطر اینکه اینجا میبینیم که نه تنها از جایی که پیروزی و ثروت دست اسحاق اومده، حالا مجبوره چون دنیا هلش داده. ابیملک بهش میگه آقا برو از بین من حرکت کن، من نمیخوام تو رو. مجبوره به یه دره حرکت بکنه. پس از اوج پیروزی به دره حرکت میکنه، دره ایمان، دره‌ای که توش باید تصمیم بگیره که درست بر طبق ایمان دوباره زیست بکنه، نه بر طبق چی؟ قدرت مال خودش. چقدر در دنیای غربی کلیساها بنا شدن و روی قدرت خودشون بنا شدن، توانایی خودشون، قدرت خودشون، پیروزی خودشون، شهرت خودشون، اسم خودشون. اگه ازشون بپرسی به اینها میبالند، ولی خدا میخواد اینها رو تو دره بذاره. Now this is also your journey. When you think you got it all together, the moment that you think, you know what, I've got it figured out, the world rejects you. Maybe your whole world turns upside down and you find yourself in the valley of Gerar. بعضی وقتا هم تو زندگی شخصی خودت وقتی فکر میکنی که همه چیز رو یافت کردی، همه چیز رو پیدا کردی، تازه به اونجایی که میخوای برسی خودت یه دفعه توی دره پیدا میکنی دوباره. Now listen to me. It's getting exciting now. Now I'm getting to the meat of the message. Now you're in the valley. So what do you do in the valley when there is no water? What do you do? توی دره خشکسالی چیکار میکنی وقتی آب پیدا نمیکنی؟ چاه میزنی. You start digging a well. Digging a well takes effort. Agreed? چاه زدن کار داره، مگه نه؟ This is what prayer is. This is what fasting is. This is what seeking the face of the Lord is. This is where you say, خدایا دعا میکنیم، چاه میزنیم. چاه زدن دعا کردنه. چاه زدن روزه گرفتنه. چاه زدن به جستجوی خدا رفتنه. چاه زدن سوال کردن خدایا کجایی. Digging a well and say, God, where are you? Which often doesn't happen in our churches today. We don't say, God, where are you? We say, God, bless us more. Give us more. We got this great thing going on. Add to it.